The Roman Time Codex Part 1, The Discovery Beneath Palatine Hill. In 2024, an archaeological expedition led by Dr. Helena Vittori unearthed a sealed stone chamber beneath Rome's Palatine Hill, a site long associated with the heart of the Roman Empire. But what lay inside wasn't just relics of a lost era. Among rusted armor and ancient scrolls, they discovered a peculiar bronze cube encrusted with emeralds and bearing inscriptions that didn't match any known Roman script. The cube pulsed faintly, just as if alive. The Latin carvings that surrounded it seemed like warnings. Tempus est circulus, qui codicem tangit, transitum facit. Time is a circle. He who touches the codex shall cross over. This artifact would become known as the Roman Time Codex, a device so advanced, scholars argued it could not have originated from any known civilization. Some whispered that it was not just ancient, but timeless. Part 2. The Codex Mechanism. The cube wasn't a mere artifact. It had moving parts, internal gears and panels that rotated with impossible precision. Experts in mechanics, quantum physics, and history were summoned. The codex responded only to specific gestures, a motion resembling the tracing of a circle in midair. Once activated, the cube projected holographic constellations not matching any modern astronomical maps, but rather star formations as they would have appeared 2,000 years ago. But that was not the strangest discovery. A Roman engineer named Marcus Sentius Varro had left behind a journal, encrypted and buried nearby, that referenced a time engine built at the behest of Emperor Augustus. Varro wrote that the machine opened the skies and brought forth shadows of Rome's possible futures. Some historians dismissed it as metaphorical. Others began to believe that Rome may have tampered with time itself. Part 3. The Architects of Time. A secret society known as the Custodes Temporum, the Timekeepers, was mentioned in Varro's journal. Formed by a circle of Roman scientists, mystics, and mathematicians, they were said to be funded directly by the imperial treasury and protected by the Praetorian Guard. Their mission? To control the flow of time through the Codex and ensure the survival of the Roman Empire across the ages. They believed history could be corrected, destiny could be reshaped, and enemies could be erased before they ever existed. The Codex, then, was not just a time machine. It was a weapon, a rewriting tool, a historian's nightmare. But if they succeeded, why did Rome fall? Unless it didn't. Part 4. The Hidden Timelines. Modern quantum theorists collaborating with the Vatican's secret archives, rumored to house documents related to the Codex, suggested that Rome may have diverted timelines, that our history, the Rome that fell, may not have been the only version. Using simulation software, researchers modeled ghost timelines, possible histories branching off from the Codex activation points. One simulation suggested a Rome that survived the Dark Ages, colonized the Americas in the 5th century, and built sky temples. Another timeline revealed a horrifying future. Rome ruled for 5,000 years, becoming a technocratic empire governed by time monks, its citizens microchipped, its enemies erased from collective memory. Were we living in the true timeline? Or an offshoot, one that slipped through the cracks of time manipulation? Part 5. The Time Pilgrims. Then came the real breakthrough. The Codex responded to biological input. Certain genetic markers triggered more complex functions. And one individual, a linguist named Lucian Volterra, matched the DNA patterns inscribed in the Codex internal ring. When Lucian touched the cube, he vanished. 3 days later, he reappeared, aged 10 years. He spoke of a Rome made of light, filled with floating obelisks and quantum libraries, where the Senate still ruled, but over eternity, not geography. Lucian said he met Varro, and Varro claimed he was merely one of the first pilgrims, those who walked the paths of time to ensure Rome's ideals never died. The question now was no longer what the Codex did, but why it had returned to our time. Part 6. The Emperor Beyond Time. Lucian Volterra's testimony was dismissed by many, even among the scholars who believed in the Codex, but his descriptions were too vivid, too consistent with ancient texts to ignore. He described a ruler known only as Imperator Eternus, the eternal emperor. This figure bore the features of multiple Roman emperors: Augustus's composure, Hadrian's intellect, and Constantine's spiritual authority. Lucian believed that this emperor was not a man, but a temporal construct, a consciousness formed from the Codex, many timelines, engineered by the Custodes Temporum. He remembered every decision ever made by every Caesar. He knew every possible Rome that ever existed. And he asked me one question: which Rome do you belong to? What Lucian brought back was even more astonishing: a scroll made of metal leaf inscribed with moving ink. The scroll changed its content based on who held it, reflecting their deepest historical memory. It contained warnings. Beware the spiral. Time does not collapse, it tightens. Rome must remain in balance or all shall perish within the coil. This raised an unsettling theory. The Codex wasn't just a tool, it was self-aware, and it had its own agenda. Part 7. The Spiral of Destinies. The spiral was mentioned again and again in Codex-based inscriptions, usually alongside warnings and always with reverence. The spiral, or spira temporalis, was believed by the timekeepers to be the true structure of history, not a straight line, but a tightening vortex. Each cycle of Rome, they theorized, brought it closer to perfection or destruction. Historians working with AI simulations at CERN discovered something uncanny. Cycles of rise and fall across history all echoed Roman patterns. Every 300 to 400 years, some civilization reenacted Rome, in values, in expansion, in eventual decay. Persia, Byzantium, the British Empire, even the American Age, all played roles mapped within spiral models. This suggested the Codex wasn't just preserving Rome, it was repeating it. Rome was not a place in time. It was the core blueprint of civilization, and whoever controlled the spiral could control the future of the world. Part 8. The Fracture Point. The Vatican's hidden library, the Archivum Obscurum, held fragments of letters exchanged between Marcus Sentius Varro and a Christian mystic named Jude of Antioch. These letters revealed that the Codex faced a critical error, a fracture in the spiral. Varro warned, "A man will come not of Roman blood, but of Roman memory. He shall tear open the Codex not to protect the empire, but to end all time loops." He is the fracture. Scholars called this man Tempus Frangere, the breaker of time. Some believe Lucian himself may be the fracture, accidentally fulfilling a prophecy he never understood. Others point to a growing number of Codex-linked artifacts appearing across the world. A sundial in Alexandria that bends light backwards. A Roman helm found in Antarctica with carbon dating from the year 3000 AD. These artifacts suggest a war may be happening across timelines, a war to break or preserve the spiral, and we are living on the edge of the fracture. Part 9. The Atlas Codex. Further exploration of the Codex revealed a secondary function, Atlas mode, a star map layered with shifting coordinates. Roman numerals appeared beside constellations. Historians realized these were temporal markers, waypoints not in space but in time. They discovered dates that coincided with major collapses and rebirths. Return of what? Of Rome? Of the Codex? Or something more terrible? A growing number of Codex researchers are becoming pilgrims, voluntarily testing time resonance protocols, attempting to reach future states of Rome hidden within the Codex's Atlas mode. Each one returns change. Some don't return at all. Part X. The Language of the Codex. At the center of the Codex's programming is a language no one has yet fully deciphered, a fusion of Latin, Enochian, and a mathematical notation that seems to adapt itself in real time. Linguists have dubbed this code chronogloss, the tongue of time. Chronogloss is not static. It reacts to emotions, intentions, even moral alignment. Reading it is dangerous. It mirrors the reader's mind and subtly reshapes thought. Some who study it too long begin to speak in it during dreams. One researcher carved chronogloss symbols into his skin, claiming it made him invisible to linear causality. One phrase repeats throughout all Codex inscriptions: Roma Eterna, non moritur, solum dormit, eternal Rome. It does not die, it only sleeps.